Yeah, thank you for tuning in, everyone, and thank you. This is our 5th installation of our expert series for the Rhode Island Commercial and Appraisal Board. And again, we want to thank our sponsors, Navigant Credit Union, Vantage Builders, All Dry Restoration, and Scarone Law for bringing us tonight RPR, Realtor Property Resources. And tonight presenting is Janelle Van. She's been a training manager with RPR since 2021. She's been a licensed Florida real estate broker since 1997 and has been a licensed Florida educator. Prior to joining RPR, she worked as a corporate trainer at Stellar MLS, which we have, if you've noticed our MLS lately, we have just joined a partnership with Stellar MLS, which is the largest MLS in Florida, training subscribers on ways to maximize the MLS subscription. She loves the comprehensive nature of RPR's tools and resources, and she enjoys helping members make the most of the RPR experience and strives to help agents include RPR in their business work here. Janelle lives in Tampa, Florida, with her husband and sweet little rescue dog, Nora, but I think her heart is up here in New England, as she spoke earlier. So, Janelle, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Stephen, for having me. I appreciate your time today. Let me go ahead and grab that screen share from you guys.
Oops. That's screwed up.
It's all right.
I was trying to make it bigger.
You can see that okay? You guys can see okay, Stephen?
Yes, we got your screen down.
Perfect. All right. Thank you for that great introduction. My name is Janelle Van. I am an original New Englander. I grew up in Plymouth, Mass, but I am living down here in Tampa, Florida now for the last 30 years, which is about how long that profile picture was. I don't know where you guys grabbed that, but that was many moons ago, but hey, I'll take it. I wanted to let you know I've been in the real estate profession over 35 years down here in Tampa as a broker, and now I'm one of the training managers for RPR. So I'm excited to have you with me today. We're going to be together for 2 hours. We're going to cover as much as I can pack into this series. I want to show you as much as I possibly can. So again, I just want to thank you for having me. Give a shout out to the Rhode Island Association of Realtors. Also want to show you on your screen, there's my email address. If you have questions after today's class, I'm here for it. So we really, as Realtors, we never stop working. So if you have questions, don't be shy, send them to me after class. And if I can't help you, I'll get you in the right direction. Now, as a quick overview, if you're not familiar with what RPR is, we are Realtors Property Resource. We are a national database for both residential and commercial properties. Our platform is giving realtors the opportunity to search property data, historical listing information, public record data, school information, neighborhood, market trends, not only for residential, but then on the commercial side of things, we've got trade area data, commercial site selection tools, lots and lots of great report generation features that you can access here on the site. So I like to always kind of position this as a one-stop platform for all of your research and marketing needs. And that's right, marketing. We have a lot of prospecting materials that you can take advantage of. You also have access to 2,000 mailing labels per month. And we have a great geographic farming class that we can also kind of direct you to if you're interested in learning more about that. The platform was built exclusively for real estate professionals. It's included as part of your NAR membership dues, and there is no consumer access. So it really is truly a one-stop platform. If you're not familiar with it, I would encourage you to get in there, practice. It's included as part of your NAR dues, and there is no consumer access, and there's no additional ads or fees to access any of the data that I'm going to show you today on the RPR site. Now, if you haven't set up your account, this is just a quick screen grab for you. There's the website down at the bottom. You'll need your NAR member ID, and then you can go ahead and bookmark your RPR page. Now, if you have already set up your account, hopefully you're a little bit familiar with some of the resources that you have access to, but I'll leave this up a few seconds. And just a quick reminder that the folks here have recorded today's webinar. So everything that I'm sharing with you today will be posted onto the association website. So I always get this question, and since this is somewhat of an introduction to RPR, we are going to cover residential property detail information, residential searches, and then we're going to completely shift gears to the commercial arena. But I love this slide, especially having been in real estate for so long. We know how valuable the MLSs are. RPR is not in competition with any of the MLSs. We are in partnership. And I like to really point that out because without the MLSs, we don't have nearly the data that we have. So we do partner up with about 98% of the MLSs nationwide. So we don't want you to think of it, should I search for properties in the MLS or should I be searching in RPR? The answer is both. We may find some advanced research opportunities in RPR that you may not have access to in the MLS. We have some great CMA options, and as I mentioned, a whole bunch of marketing materials. So just use all of your resources, rely on your community of real estate professionals, your broker, obviously you have a strong association, and then use your RPR for additional research and marketing needs. So take a quick glimpse, and if you want to grab your phone and grab this QR code, I'm not going to read every single data set for you on the slide, but in terms of some of the data that you can access, because RPR is integrating with MLSs and we're collecting data from local public record offices, it's really a platform where you can research not only those MLS sales, but also by owners, new construction, things like that. So we do have access, and part of our valuation of properties combines those off-market public record sales as well as the MLS data. So now here in Florida, flood maps are a major factor in our real estate market. You can research foreclosed and distressed information in RPR. I mentioned the CMA is a very valuable asset. We've got some great map tools, market activity, school data, and then of course we've got a lot of great commercial resources that we're going to cover today. So that's 50 ways to use RPR. You can grab that QR code if you need me to come back to it. I will at the end of class. So these are some of the RPR residential partnerships that we rely on. There is no direct data input from realtors into RPR. So obviously we rely heavily on our data partnerships. Of course, I mentioned those MLSs. We also rely on some Google Street Views. We've got our demographic data coming to us from Esri, as well as a lot of that US Census Bureau data. We have a financial analysis partnership with a company called Valuate. So if you're working with an investor and maybe they want you to run a short or a long-term investment analysis on a property, you have the resources to do so on the RPR site. One of the cool things I like to talk about, especially when we're either way, we're residential or commercial, is our partnership with Precisely. Now, for our commercial realtors, they know when a business is looking to set up shop, they tend to like to be near like-minded businesses, similar business operations. That's why oftentimes you'll see a Dunkin' Donuts close by to a Starbucks. Well, on the RPR map, you can actually put all of those points of interest. So if you have a residential client and they want to be really close to the libraries or daycare centers, or maybe just shops and restaurants, you can apply all of those points of interest to the map. Same thing with commercial. So you can show your clients physically on the map where those points of interest are. We also have some excellent resources in terms of traffic count. So if you have a client and they're buying a house that backs up to a road and they want to know how busy that road is, we can show them on the RPR map the daily traffic count. So that works great for both residential and commercial clients because, as we know, commercial investors, especially for the retail commercial owners, want to be close to busier roads. So we've got traffic counts, points of interest. Our school data is going to come to us from a partnership with Niche. And our school data goes beyond just a basic school grade. It's going to take clients into a deep dive of the school, show them average SAT, ACT scores, really dive deep into the school data. Now, if your broker does not want you to share school data, then don't do that. If they don't have a preference, you have access to school data as well as the ability to craft really comprehensive school reports here on RPR. We also can refine our value. Our value estimates, like I said, are going to include MLS data as well as public record data. And unlike those other estimates of value that you may see on other sites, let's say, for instance, a Z estimate, In RPR, you can actually refine the value based on your knowledge of the local market, the subject property, upgrades, and improvements. So it takes an estimate of value and it gives you the keys to kind of make refinements to that, where you can't really do that with those third-party estimates. So we're going to look at that refined value tool. We've got FEMA flood zone maps, huge concern for the Florida real estate market. If that's something that you're interested in, I can show you how to apply those flood maps to your location. And then we also have a partnership with the AARP Livability Index. Additional resources that you may have access to include, I mentioned Valuate, our climate risk analysis. If you have a customer that's relocating and they want you to perform a climate analysis, maybe they want to see what the fire, flood, drought risks are, you've got the resources to do that as well. So these are some of the additional resources that you may see when you log onto the RPR site. So I'm going to give a quick shout out to RPR Mobile. A lot of really neat, cool AI resources are coming very soon to RPR Mobile. There's already a lot of AI embedded into mobile at this time. But if you want, you have an opportunity now to grab the QR code for RPR Mobile. I'm going to spend about 2 minutes giving my plug for mobile. One, we're always on the phone. There's a great opportunity for you from RPR Mobile to post directly to social media. So if you're looking to use some of the local market trend data to share to social media and grow your business, you can absolutely do that from the desktop or the mobile app. But most importantly, with mobile, it gives us the opportunity to pivot. We've all been with a client, we're showing property, they're frustrated, they're not finding what they're looking for. You can rebound right away, start a new search from the mobile app, create a brand new buyer's tour for mobile, share that with your customers via text, airdrop, email, or you can even post that data directly to social media. So you have customizable reports, the ability to search on market and off market property. So let's think about that. I'm going to work with Paul in my class today. Maybe Paul's working with a client. The buyer wants to know about the property next door. You can go to the public record database right from RPR Mobile and research everything that happened on the property next door. So it's kind of a cool way for you to answer all of the client's questions while they're still engaged and excited about the property. Okay, any questions on RPR Mobile? This is brand new. This hasn't even launched yet. It's coming in November. We are introducing a brand new AI CMA. It's so exciting. It's a perfect way for you to craft a CMA summary, whether you're working with a buyer or a seller. And it's going to really kind of guide them what their offer is going to look like in the current market. So you can see here for a buyer AI CMA, an aggressive offer, what does that look like? Maybe slightly above list price. For a seller CMA, remember, this is all AI. Of course, AI is no substitute for our real estate professionals, but it's a great starting point for pricing strategies. So if you're going on a listing appointment, stay tuned. This is going to be launched probably in the next 3 to 4 weeks. AI seller CMA summary and an AI buyer CMA tool, all available from the mobile app. Now let's talk about the agenda. This is what I've got planned for you today. We've got about 2 hours together and I'm so happy to be here. We're going to start off with residential. We're going to do some residential searches. I'm going to show you the homepage, take you through some of the reports and some of the prospecting materials that you have access to. Then we're going to land on a subject property and we're going to pretend like we've got a buyer ready to make an offer. We can analyze everything there is to know about a subject property. The public record data, the mortgage, tax, deed, historical data is all accessible for you. We are going to talk about monthly market trends. And this is something that I get super excited about because did you know, you're up there in Rhode Island, you can access market trends nationwide. So if you are working with a client, they're relocating to Tampa maybe, and you want to research the market in Tampa, you absolutely can access the zip code data, the city data, and you can share that with your clients. That opens the door for a potential referral. So think about that. If you have a listing and they're tired of the cold, they're moving to another part of the country, you can research and analyze what they are anticipating happening in that local market. The market trends are updated once a month, so they're pretty current. And it's even going to break down median price per square foot, median sold price per square foot. So it's a great opportunity for you to educate yourself and your client on where they're relocating to. But probably even more important, it's a great resource for marketing. So you can access your local market trends. You can then share that data directly to social media. I'm going to show you how to do that. Of course, you don't have to post to social, but you could use it as part of a direct mail campaign, or maybe you want to just put it on your own website. You've got lots of great options, including some AI script writing tools that are directly aligned with the market trends. So we're going to cover that. We're going to look at the 7 different residential reports, as well as 3 commercial reports that you can access, customize, share, post, all kinds of cool things you can do with the reports. We're going to take a look at neighborhood and school data. I'm going to try to get you to the map and show you some of these really interesting points of interest. You also can set up a buyer search by their desired commute time. So if you're maybe working with a first responder and they need to be within 10 or 15 minutes of their place of employment, or a teacher who maybe wants to be more than 30 minutes away from the school, we can create a buyer's search based on the requested commute time or distance. So there's some pretty neat things there on the map as well. And then we're going to totally shift gears and we're going to head over to the commercial arena. We're going to do some commercial searching. And my favorite part of our commercial presentation is the site selection tools. So think about that when you are talking with commercial practitioners. Maybe they come to you and they want to find the perfect location for their business to thrive. We can go in and pop in some consumer attributes on RPR site and show them on the map where the ideal locations are for whatever business model they're trying to establish. So we're going to spend some time on our commercial searches, site selection tools, and then I'm going to finish strong with our learning center. Every one of the RPR classes that we have every month, we have 12 different classes. They're all recorded and stored for you on the learning center. So if you're looking to access previous recordings or Canva templates or ebooks or tutorials, sky's the limit. We've got lots of great additional learning opportunities for me to share with you today. Okay, do we have any questions before we keep it rolling? Are we good out there? Stephen, I'm going to rely on you. Okay, you're saying all right. Okay, so I want to just quickly talk about the RVM in RPR. This is something that is unique to RPR, and I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier in terms of its refinability, but this is the Realtors valuation model. And you're going to see this on almost every active residential property and off-market residential property in RPR. And what this does is includes the properties that have recently sold through the MLS, as well as those public record sales. So for me, it's one of the most accurate valuation tools available. It is a great starting point for pricing, whether you're going on a listing appointment or you're working with a buyer. It's also refinable. And it's just a really nice way for you to educate your clients on what the valuation model is. But we all know that there are many variables that go into values. It could be on an extra large home site, or it's got a brand new roof or a kitchen. You can take that information and apply it to RPR, and it will refine the value based on the current trends in your location. So it's at a regional level, and I'm going to show you what that looks like as well. Okay, let's get in here and take a look. Here's my home page. I want to go ahead and show you that on the top left of your screen, we've got the Rhode Island Realtors Association logo. If you would like to have your broker's logo appear on the cover letter of any of the reports that you can access and generate in RPR, that's something that I would have you maybe reach out to me after class, and I will get you a link for the brokerage branding to get set up. The way you find out if your broker has done that is when you log in. If you don't see your broker's logo up at the top left, they just haven't sent it to us. So we can easily make that happen. Now, obviously, it's not a big deal when you're just searching around the site, but when you go to marketing and you start creating reports and contents, then it's going to matter. We want that to be on the cover letter. Okay, so just over to the top right, I just want to spend a few moments here. Click on this drop down here, send you to your profile, and make sure you upload your photo, your personal logo, contact information, phone number, email addresses. If you're curious about what MLSs or CIE information is being shared with you, you just simply go down to listing data access and you can see exactly what on-market and historical listing data is being shared. And then my final plug for the profile is on our license number. Always remember to include that license number when you're presenting reports to your customers. It just adds that little extra touch of professionalism. You also can add assistant users to your RPR account if that is something that is allowed through your MLS. Okay, so then we just click on save and we're good to go. So that's step 1 and 2. One is to get the broker logo set up. Reach out to me after class. But for you guys, get that profile set up on the top right of your screen and set that all up. One and done. Now, every time you generate content, whether it's an AI script or it's market trends or it's reports, it will all now have your personal contact information on it. Okay, so we're good to keep moving. Are any questions out there? Should I go off camera? Would that make it a little easier for you guys to focus? Sometimes I just shut the camera off.
Yeah, if you want to just go full screen with the PowerPoint, you can do that.
Okay, let's shut the camera off. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect. Let's get rid of my face and we'll just focus on this. All right, so we're going to start on the residential side of things. So give me some time with residential and then we are going to shift gears to commercial. We're going to begin at the top of our homepage and we're going to kind of cover some of these different tabs and what they mean to you. So when I click on my research tab, click on that little drop down arrow, the first thing you notice is I can begin a property search. I can go to my map and start searching for properties on the map. My residential market trends. This is where I was saying earlier, you can access these nationwide. I'm going to show you that in just a few seconds. Our neighborhood search, we can analyze a neighborhood. And if someone would be so kind to give me a shout out with a zip code, I would love that because then I can go ahead and show you everything that's happening in that specific zip code in terms of the neighborhood, census data, things like that. So let me know if you've got a good zip code that you can share. I would love that.
How about 02886?
02886. Got it. Okay, perfect. We're going to use that today. We're going to also take a look at school searching. Remember in RPR, it's not just public school data. You can also search private school data. And if you have a buyer and they've already got their kids enrolled in a school, but they want to look for properties in that school zone, we can also show them how to do that. We can show the realtors how to provide that information. So I love this. If we have parents and they do not want to move outside of the school zone, we can take advantage of the school search. So it's not just public, it's private as well. And again, we can create reports that really dive into the different school data sets. So we'll talk about that throughout today's class as well. We've got residential market activity searches. And then for the second part of my presentation today, we're going to focus on our commercial site selection tools, our commercial trade area analysis. So keep this in mind. All of this research that you're seeing here from our homepage that I'm showing you, there's many, many different ways to conduct research in RPR. So all of these market trends, neighborhood data, school data, you can also access from a subject property. So I don't want you to think this is the only place that you can access this neighborhood data. If we are actually looking at an active listing, we can also analyze the neighborhood from that subject property. So it's pretty cool. This is kind of where we begin with research. I'm going to pop on over to marketing. We're going to come back to research here in just a few. I want to remind everybody with our marketing platform, prospecting for residential and commercial is accessible. You can create a geographic farm list in RPR. I mentioned earlier, we give you 2,000 mailing labels per month, and we actually walk you through the process of going off market using a little predictive analytics, finding property owners that maybe have owned more than 10 or 15 years in a neighborhood that you want to do some outreach to, we've got you covered. We can show you how to craft a geographic farm list for both listings, and we also can look for tenants. We can kind of go in and try to find tenants that may be ready to become home buyers. So that's something we cover in our prospecting class. We've also got the reports tab. I want to focus on this for a moment. I've mentioned a few times that we have 7 different residential report templates, 3 commercial report templates. So a few things we want to talk about here. My reports, these are going to be the reports that I have previously generated and saved. The RPR report templates are templates of all of these different reports that you can customize. Let's go ahead and take a look at those. When we're talking about reports, 7 residential, we've got the seller, the school report, your neighborhood report, your market activity report. With every one of these reports, I encourage you to click on the preview tab, and this is going to show you over to the left the data that will be included when you generate that neighborhood report. Now, keep in mind, you do not have to include all of this data. You can absolutely pick and choose the sets of data that you want to provide to your customers. So that's number 1. You can absolutely customize your reports. I would encourage you to kind of go through and see which report has the data that you are most inclined to use. And then once you have selected, let's go back out here. Maybe we take a look at the market activity report. We preview that, and now you're going to see an entirely different set of data where we're talking more about the market, price changes, property information, market trends, as opposed to the neighborhood report, which is kind of talking more about the people that live in that location. Now, with our reports, just like with our research, you can also access all of these from a subject property. So I wanted to show you what the reports were going to look like. Let's go in and just craft a real quick neighborhood report. I'm going to click on preview. I'm going to use this template. And now I was given 02886. So I'm going to go show you how easy it is to generate a neighborhood report for Warwick, Rhode Island. All right, let's go ahead and click continue. With every one of those reports, you're going to have the same format, the customization option. This is the cover page. You can see it automatically populated to the boundary of Warwick. Now you can change this photo out. We would just have to go to our photos tab on the bottom left, add our own photo, and then our cover letter is changed. The customization, though, that you're seeing at the top of your screen is going to control all of the data that you're seeing here to the right, the housing stats, the people, the economy. So think about this for just a second. If you are looking at the housing market for 02886, and I click on this little drop down arrow, now you can see, check this out. In 02886, 36% of the folks are renting in that zip code. You have all of this information that you can control. If you want to change this and get rid of condos and townhouses, we can click this drop down arrow and make it single family only. And you can see the dynamic nature of the report. So what I would suggest you do is you go through each one of these tabs, click on a drop down arrow. All of this data is coming to us from the US Census Bureau. And if you're seeing something here that maybe you just don't want to share with your customers, maybe you just unselect it and it's gone. The other thing you can do with your reports is you can kind of drag and drop. So if quality of life is the most important thing that you want to include, you have complete control over your customization. You can reorganize the data, you can add your own custom pages, and you can check the boxes and see AARP livability index, not a priority to me. I unselect it and it's gone. So for all 7 reports, you're going to see the same layout. There's our cover page. And I'm just going to quickly show you that if you want to get rid of this photo, we just click on our photos. And then we can go ahead and add our photos from our computer. I'm going to just go ahead and grab this guy over here. We'll look and we will grab this beautiful photo. So you can customize your reports with your own listing your own city, whatever photo you want to include. Just be sure to edit your cover image, select the photo that you want, and look at how beautiful that cover letter is. Bringing this back full circle, this is why we want that broker's logo to appear on the cover letter, because it is a very professional look. We want to make sure it's all branded with your info. So in terms of the neighborhood report, you can also add your own custom pages here. I've added a resume. You could add an AI script that we generate later. You can add any custom page that you would like. But the most important thing is look at all of this data. There's our quality of life, commute time, what's going on in Warwick in terms of housing, climate, all of that good stuff. So remember, for all of the reports, you've got your customization at the top left. That customization is going to control the data that you see on your screen. And then how do we share this data? On the blue tab, top of our screen here, we could either save this as a new template, and then every time we want to do a neighborhood report, all we'd have to do is type in our location. Or I could go ahead and share. Check this out. If I click on share, now I have a dynamic link. Think about that in terms of your market trends. That data auto refreshes every 48 hours. So when you share a link from RPR, whether it's to your website, to your social media platforms, or it's to an email, it will auto refresh every 48 hours. So if your clients are clicking on the link, they're going to get up-to-date information. Okay, obviously I could email this report to a client, super easy, or I could post the entire thing directly to social media. So it's a great resource in terms of marketing yourself, sharing neighborhood, local market trends to social media. Now, what you're not seeing down here, we've got Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. If you want to post to Instagram, you can do that. You can do that from the mobile app. All of the reports that we can access can also be generated from mobile and shared from mobile. So think about that. If you're doing an open house or you're meeting with a specific client, rather than having something printed out, generate the report, grab your mobile device, airdrop it, or text it. It's instant, it's professional, and it's comprehensive. So grab that, and remember, everything that you do on the desktop is automatically going to sync to the mobile. So if you do your advanced research from the desktop and then you grab your mobile device and you go out to show property, it's all going to auto sync right to your mobile app. So remember that. Okay, so that's a very, very high level overview of the different report templates, use cases for me, marketing, of course, but education. If I'm going on a listing appointment, I need a CMA. If I've got the listing, I need the property flyer. I can blast that right out to social media. Neighborhood report, maybe I present that to a buyer or a seller if they're not really sure what's going on in their local neighborhood. And then, of course, we've got the school and the market activity report. And one more thing before I leave reports. Buyer and seller report templates will give you the opportunity to include a CMA in it. So if you're working with a buyer, remember, it's just as important to provide them with a comparative market analysis, just like you would for a seller. So all of these reports, think of them not only for research, but also as a great tool to help you grow your business through some online or maybe a direct mail campaign. So that's a quick overview of our reports. Any questions on that? Let me pause, sip my water, and check in with you guys. Okay, I see Melissa had a question. Will this recording be shared with us? Stephen, you guys are posting this to your website, correct?
Yeah, all of our professional series are banked on our website at the Rhode Island Commercial Appraisal Board. So anybody can see it after the fact.
Right. And I want to kind of come back on camera too and let you guys know I'm really here for you. So if you are really like super serious about one specific thing you want me to show, I want to accommodate that. So please don't be shy. You can unmute, ask me questions. I'm happy to. Otherwise, I have a kind of a planned format, but I can pivot and I can definitely adjust if there's something really specific that you want me to focus on. So please don't be shy, okay?
I have a quick question. I hope
Yeah.
you don't mind. Well, maybe it's letting the cat out of the bag with the AI,
But do you have connectors for your AI so I can make it act as a investor? Yeah, like a
Oh my
connection
gosh,
to it.
yeah.
Yeah, I know you don't want, I don't know if you can talk about it.
Oh,
But,
I'm going to talk about it. You
oh,
bet.
great.
Oh no, that's a big part. That's like
I thought you
the
were keeping
most
it on the
exciting thing
wraps.
I'm going to talk about. Yeah, we're going to get to the AI tools in about 2 minutes. So stay with me for that, okay? Melissa wants my contact information. I'm just going to put it in the chat real quick. And remember, you can always reach out to me. We do these webinars on a national basis all week long. So I am here for it. Whatever you guys have questions on, don't hesitate. Let me know. Okay, I'm going to shut my camera back off and we're going back to it. All right, let's go back. We were on reports. I just want to point out our member support team here. They're open 7 days a week. You can call, live chat, email. If you see something wrong in RPR, we need to know about it. Remember, we're getting our data from public records, MLSs. Sometimes human error happens, so let us know. We can fix it if we hear from you. So remember that member support team, always accessible for you under your help button. We're going to stay with Save Learn for the end of class, but this is our learning center where you can access all of our previously recorded webinars. But beyond that, there are so many different marketing pieces. If you can stay with me till we finish up, I'm going to take you here and show you some of those advanced marketing opportunities. Okay, let's go to research. This is my favorite place to be. First off, we're going to save property searches and map searches for a little bit later. I want you to know, though, when we are looking at residential or commercial, you're still going to be able to perform a property search right from here. Now, for our residential market trends, this is where things get really fun and exciting. Remember, the market trends are accessible nationwide. So my friend out there gave me 02886. Let's see what's going on in your local market and what can you do with this information. All right, so you guys have a much different market than what I'm looking at down here in Tampa. We are definitely creeping towards a more balanced market. In some parts of the state, we are way over here as far as buyer's market, but not the case in Warwick. We're still in a strong seller's market. You have about 2 months of inventory. Your sold to list price percentage is over 100%, 101.9. Median days on the market is 25, and your median sold price is 440. So what you're seeing here is a high level overview of the market trends in that zip code as of September. These market trends, you can click on the little help bubble to the right, these update monthly. And it kind of explains to you the difference between a seller's market versus a buyer's market. Obviously, this particular stat, your 2 months of inventory, is having a major effect. Low inventory, good news for the sellers, right? Those properties are still selling over list price. So this is kind of a high level overview of your market trends. Over to the right though, because we access these trends from the homepage and not an actual property, it doesn't know what property type we're analyzing. So let's go ahead and get rid of our condos and townhouses in single family only. The default will always be all of these property types, but you can change that. So we'll click on the drop down arrow. We'll change it to single family only and watch what happens to my median sold price. I'm not sure if it's going to change. Usually it does. If I get rid of condos and townhouses, it changed. It did go up to about 485. So if you're using these market trends and you're sharing them with customers and maybe you're going on a listing appointment for a single family home, be sure to adjust your property type so you're giving them data that is directly relevant to their property type. So you could do the same thing. We could go down to condos and townhouses, apply that to all the chart. Now look what happened. Look at the median sold price when I changed it to just looking at condos and townhouses. Way down to 279, and your guys are only at 10 days on the market. Now, to prove my point, let me take you somewhere out of, go to New Smyrna Beach. I'm going to show you guys the difference and how easy it is to look at market trends and how they differ in other parts of the country. So let's say you're working with a seller who's relocating to Florida and they want to buy a condo. Guess what? you can show them, guys, this is a great time to buy a condo because there is almost 10 months of inventory in that little town. Great opportunity for buyers, especially for condos and townhouses. So I did want to kind of point out the difference in markets, and you can absolutely research all of that all over the country. So wherever your folks are relocating, take advantage of this data and make sure you get that referral working for you. Okay, so we're back to Warwick. A couple more things I want to talk about with our trends. We're going to look at changing this back to single family. From here, we have a one-click share button. So if you want to take this entire chart, post it directly to social media, you can click on share, and there it is, market trends. I could post this directly to Facebook, X, just like I could with those reports. You can see, though, it looks a little bit different. And not everybody is going to really kind of understand what all of this data means. We are in the real estate profession. We know what month supply of inventory means and how it has an impact on the sellers versus the buyers. However, not every client does. So for that, we can go in and create a script. So here we go. When we click on create script, this is where we take you to all of the different AI resources, and they are robust. The first thing I want you to know, the script writer tool is directly aligned with your market trends. So if you are anywhere else on the RPR site looking for the script, you won't find it. It's got to be from your market trends. Now, remember, you can access market trends from properties as well. So let's click on our create script again. And each one of these script options serves a different purpose. So let's talk about the action items first. Market trends article. If you're looking to do a direct mail campaign, this is an awesome tool. Once a month, you mail out your market trends article to your geographic farm area. If social media is your jam, you can go ahead, click on social media. I'm going to show you that. We're going to come back to that in just a second, but you can quickly generate a beautiful social media card. PowerPoint presentation. If you're kind of tech savvy and you want to sit down with your computer and do a PowerPoint presentation with your customers, you can create the entire presentation right from here using the AI tool. Brokers love this because especially if they have brick and mortar, maybe you have a window front or a computer, and you have a rotating deck going through all of the local market trends. Something that really makes it so easy to craft is the PowerPoint presentation. We also have the ability to create a video, a short video branded to you that you can quickly post to whatever you want, your website, maybe you want to email it, or maybe you want to send it to social media. We've got a client email. This is a great opportunity if you're first interacting with a client and you want to explain to them what the market is. You could draft an AI script writer and email it to them. And then we also have a video script. So if you're the realtor that wants to go in and create a TikTok video or an Instagram reel, the hardest part of that concept is what to say. The video script will completely outline a beautiful script. All you have to do is find someone to record you, videotape it, and then share away. So you've got all of these different action tools. Moving up to the top, our tone. We can be professional, friendly. I like to be friendly, but we could be encouraging, direct. I'm going to go with friendly. And now for my friend that asked about our audience selection, check this out. Buyers, first-time home buyers, move-up buyers, luxury home sellers, distressed sellers, and there we go. There's is it Wilfredo? Am I saying that right? There's your investor audience.
You got it.
All
Yeah,
right.
AI. I know you can create a QR code for those storefronts too, but this is
I
what I
know.
wanted. This is what I wanted.
Absolutely. So I'm going to do that for you in a second. I'm going to do a social media card specifically for buyers. Let's go ahead and create one of those. When I click on the card, hover down to create social card, verify your contact information is all accurate here. This is why you want to set up your profile. So that's step one. Step two, and this is magic. This is absolutely awesome. I love it. Select the background that you like. Now let's say it's fall, not here, but up there it is. So this is the neighborhood visual that I want to pick, right? I choose my background image, and guess what? There's Warwick, Rhode Island. There's all of those market trends. There's our month supply of inventory, our sold to list price percentage, the median days on market, and the median sold price. So you would think, well, this is perfect. I can copy and paste this directly to social. I can make this a postcard and use it as direct mail. I can put it on my on an email thread, but it gets even better because check it out. If I go down to the bottom and I select share with caption, now it's going to give me smaller paragraphs that are going to break down the data and make it easier for our customers to understand. So you can see there, generating AI caption, considering a move to Warwick, Rhode Island with 50 new listings at a median price of $494. There's a lot to explore. Check out these options with the help of who? Me. Host, you've got hashtags. You can include, you can exclude those. You could also click on view more captions, and you're going to get 5 different subset of text that you could post. So let's say, for instance, you want to grab this one about the inventory. It's trending with a 20% drop over the past year with only 2.25 months of inventory. Now is a good time to do what? Act quickly. Remember, we made this for our buyers. And it even includes like a little emojis and hashtags. So all I would have to do if I wanted to post this to social media, pick the caption that I want, copy it, and then I could just paste it directly to my social media platform. Now, when I click on save and share, it's going to save this for me in our media center. So there's a media library. I could download, I could post this to Facebook, I could post this to LinkedIn. There's my QR code, and I could also email this data. So there's your AI, just some of the AI tools. There's actually a bunch more, but these are some of the introductory AI tools that you have access to. So if I go to my media library, there is my card for Warwick, Rhode Island. I'm having the hardest time saying that. I could just download it, and there's my social media card all ready and set for me to post. Okay, so if you want, you just download the card. It's got all of the data. Of course, you can customize it, and then you could even add your caption above the postcard. Pretty cool stuff. Remember, scriptwriter is connected to the market trends. We have some other AI tools available, especially from the mobile app that are property specific. For the desktop, the best bang for your buck is going to be on your market trends. Okay, any questions on that? I'm going to pause, mute, and take a sip of my water. Okay, are we good to go?
Yeah, I'll just send you an email. Don't worry about it.
All right, you got it. I'm here for it. Okay, so we talked about market trends. We talked about how you can do this at a zip code. You can also do this at a city level. If I want to analyze everything that's going on in Providence, Rhode Island, I can just type that in. Of course, it's not going to make it easy on me because it wants me to look at Alabama. All right, here we go. So there's the market trends at the city level. We did it at the zip code level as well. You have the same options wherever you're looking at the market trends. You've got your script, your share button, your property type analysis, but there's more. As we scroll down, every one of these charts is painting a different picture. This chart is showing me the median estimated property value for all of Providence as of September 2025 for single family homes. Now you may notice there's a share button. So for this particular chart, whenever there's a share button, I could post this to social media. And it's not just my news feed. I could post this to my social media story. I could post it to Instagram if I'm on the mobile app. Scrolling on down, you've got new listing data. This is always a good pro tip: median price per square foot, pending listing data, median sold price per square foot. Every one of these charts is up to date, updated monthly, and has that share button. So there's endless possibilities in terms of shareability here. Let's see. Remember I mentioned We have public record sales as well as MLS inventory. The public record sold data in Providence is showing a median price per square foot of $266. Let's compare that to the sold MLS data. Median price per square foot is $343. So something's happening here. Either the buy owners are selling their properties for lower than they really should be, or maybe there's new construction in this area that's driving that down. But I always like to show this to my customers. Okay, well, it looks like this is going to be buy owner. Price per square foot is significantly less than the listed data. Let's go to the top. Let's go back. Oh, the one more thing I wanted to show you from the market trends. You can also print the entire document if you want. You can download it to a PDF and it will give you all of the different charts at once. Cancel that guy out. And then the other thing you can do is create a report. So if you want to package all of this information in a report, remember we looked at reports earlier, just click on create report. There's our market activity template. Click on that. It already knows I'm in Providence. I'm going to click continue, and I'm going to get the exact same format, my customization, my cover page, and this is the data that I have to decide. I have to kind of sift through and figure out what is important for me to share. Okay, so that's a quick overview of our market trends. We're going to move on to our neighborhood search real quick, and then I want to take you to a subject property. So let's go ahead, just do a quick neighborhood search. Remember, reports can be accessed from many different areas. Does somebody else have another zip code besides 02886? If not, I'm going to use that, but I'm happy to explore another neighborhood. Come on, Wilfredo, I know you got something. No zip codes. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and stick with 02886. And we're going to stick with Warwick. Now, when we're looking at the neighborhood information, we're going to go over to the far right, click our magnifying glass, and it is going to show me a neighborhood summary specific to that zip code. So there's my market trends again, but this time we're analyzing more than just the local market because it's a neighborhood summary. We're now looking at the housing market in terms of rental rates,
Can you hear
ownership
me?
percentage. Go ahead.
Wait,
Hi, Melissa.
1 second, we just go over here.
Did you have a question?
Hi, can you hear me?
I sure can.
This technology.
Did you have a question, Melissa?
No, I'm sorry, it was my
Oh,
daughter.
it's okay. No worries. Okay, so if you are just trying to find an area to reach out to potential renters, this is a pretty good zip code. 36% of the folks that live in that zip code are renting. The people, if you have a buyer relocating and they want to know what the average age range is of the kids, we can scroll down and see population of children by age group. Looks like lots and lots of elementary schoolers in this particular area. Honestly, the data is just really, really endless. I mean, there is so much information here that you can decide what to share with your clients, what they're interested in, and what does not matter. So you got the economy for Warwick is sitting at about 87,000 median household income. And I always like this to show my Florida friends. What's the annual snowfall up there? 35 inches. I'm sorry about that, guys. We don't get any snow down here. So it's always kind of fun if I'm relocating a client to other parts of the country, I can kind of show them what they're getting into. So remember, market trends and neighborhood data you can access nationwide. All of this information you can access for any part of the country as long as that information is being shared with us. And especially the neighborhood data, it's US Census data, so it should appear. All right, so we're going to leave our research tab. You can also school search. We're going to leave that just because of time. You can access school data from a subject property. On our location bar, this is where we do some basic searching. I can type in a zip code, an address. I'm going to go back to Warwick and I'm going to do a basic property search. And I'm going to just show you specifically how these properties are going to be laid out for you. So over to the right where it says status and type, you'll notice I can shift from active inventory. I can include properties that are for lease. I can jump right on over to the public records database. This is where we do some of our off-market searching and maybe geographic farming, creating those mailing addresses. I'm just going to do a basic active inventory search. You also notice we've got withdrawn, canceled, and expired data. We're going to stick to single family. My price point is between 3 and 4. You can change that up. You can add bedrooms, baths, or we can jump on over to more filters. And I only found 8 properties actively listed in that zip code. When we're on more filters over to the far right, you can filter out by square footage. We can search distressed inventory. We can search open houses. We've got keyword searches. If you have a buyer that really just wants a single story home, you can add that to your search. And then over to the miscellaneous fields. Oops, excuse me. This is where we get into some of that predictive analytics in terms of prospecting, ownership time, absentee owner searches. But what you're looking at, it's a really clean way to really analyze property data. When we did our search, we ended up with 8 properties. We've got 3 views. You're always going to see these 3 different views at the top right of your screen. This is our list view. But then check it out. We've got a nice side-by-side view. Any one of these properties, I could click on the address and examine the entire thing. This guy came on the market probably in the last couple of days. It's got the orange new flag on it. But then if I go over to the far right on the top of our screen, we have the map view. So now I can kind of zoom in or out and I can see where all of these properties are physically on the map. So there's this guy listed for $384,900, newer on the market. Remember, all of these roads, if this particular property was really close to a road and my client wanted me to analyze the traffic counts on that road, I absolutely could do that. We're going to show you that in a few minutes, so stay tuned. So you've got your 3 views. Whenever you're on your search results, the list view, the nice side-by-side view, and then your map view. You also have your mailing labels. You can print, and then of course now you can go ahead and create reports. So are there any questions about searching? If you choose to toggle from residential to commercial, it's just that easy. I just toggle down, and the big difference is going to be in my property type. When I look at the different property types for commercial, you can see my view has changed quite a bit. And we're going to stay with residential for a few more minutes. Okay, let me pause. Are there any other questions that I can answer? Okay, you guys are quiet, but that's all right. We'll just keep on moving. The next thing I want to talk about is my markets. This is where on your homepage, you can set up areas that you want to monitor. And you can add as many as you want. I'm going to go ahead and show you. Oh, did I have a question?
Yeah, you mentioned that you'll be able to see it because it's going to be saved or videoed or whatever. Is it going to be on the Rycobor site or on the RIR MLS site?
The Rycobor site, Paul.
Okay, because I'm not a member of Rycobor.
You can get on the site, just Rhode Island Commercial Appraisal Board. You can get on.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Stephen.
And Paul, everything that we've recorded previously is always going to be stored for you on the Learning Center. So this particular class won't be, but we've kind of merged a lot of different data. Most of our classes are 1 hour. And since we got the opportunity to present for 2 hours today, we're packaging in more than we typically would, but 12 different classes a month, and you can access them all on the Learning Center at the top of your homepage.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So my markets, let's talk about that. We want to monitor market. All of this is status changes that have happened in the last 10 days. So all you do is you click on add, and we're going to go to Warwick, add the zip code that my friend gave me, 02886. Remember that new flag that appeared on that property? You get to set that up here. So you get to tell the system what new means to you. For me, I have it set for 3 days. That means anything that's flagged as new automatically alerts me to the fact that it's been listed in the last 3 days. But you can change that. You could do 7, you could do 14, or you can do 0, 1. I like 3. So we're going to leave that alone. add your zip code. So now I've got Providence, Pawtucket, Warwick. I could remove these. I'm going to go ahead and click on save. Also notice this process works exactly the same for residential and commercial. Okay, so we click on save, we close this guy out, we go home. Now, when we're looking at our home page, if I want to get a quick glimpse at what's going on in Warwick, I just simply scroll down to my new zip code that I just added, and I look at the map dynamically changing. And there's the 16 new properties that have come on the market in the last 10 days. So everything you're seeing here is inventory status updates for 10 days. But remember, we added that new flag. So this property here, 799 multifamily unit, this had to have come on the market in the last 3 days. All right, so I wanted to set that up for you. Now I want to show you a subject property. Let's go back to Providence, and I'm just going to grab a property that I was playing with earlier. So remember what we've done so far. We did a whole bunch of research. We checked out our reports. We did a basic residential search for 300 to 400,000 in Warwick. Now I'm going to grab a property, and I'm going to show you what a property details page looks like. So we're going to just pick one randomly, new listing. I'm going to click on view full details. And this is probably going to be the last thing I'm going to do before we leap over to commercial. So for our subject property, when we're researching for a subject property, notice this blue bar. From here, I can analyze again the market trends. I can analyze the map. This is where I could refine the value. Remember that RVM that I mentioned at the beginning of class? This property has an RVM of 497.5. If my buyer is coming to me and says, hey, Janelle, I want to offer 400 on this property. Look at the list price, look at the RVM and say, you know what? That's probably not going to get the job done. You've got a list price significantly less than the valuation, but you have control over this RVM. And I'm going to talk about that in a few moments. So from any property in RPR, whether it's actively listed like this guy, or it's an off-market property, you're going to have all of these different sets of data. Here's your refined value. Here's your CMA. You can create a CMA really easy here in RPR. There's your neighborhood report and then my updates. This is where you can access a net sheet, an equity estimator. You can add your own photos and you can add your own notes. Now this is all for you only. If you change photos, you add photos here, no one else is going to see them except for you and the clients that you share that with. Sometimes agents will add their own photos if they're going on a listing appointment. They'll add maybe a photo that they took from their mobile device. Okay, so let's say, for instance, we've got a buyer ready to make an offer on this property. There's 29 photos. I can quickly kind of scroll through and see all of these beautiful property photos. I could click on the map, or I'm going to go to my market trends. The first thing I always want to do is see what's happening in the local market. For Providence, there's the zip code. Because I accessed the market trends from a subject property, I didn't have to change it. It defaulted right to property type. So if my buyer is ready to make an offer, I'm going to show them this, or I'm going to create a buyer script. So let's just kind of scroll on down here. We've got an RVM of 497. Not only do you have the valuation model, you have the ability to view the details. So when I click on it, there's the subject property on the map. These are the properties that went into calculating that RVM. So I've got active inventory, recently closed properties. Look at this, it's only 0.07 miles away. Off-market properties that also went into calculating that RVM. So it kind of goes beyond those Z estimates. It gives you a valuation model that you can refine, but it also gives you the details of the properties that went into calculating that value. Okay, you've got all your pricing tools. You've got the listing description. If I jump over to the map, check it out. There's my subject property. I am now looking at all of the neighboring properties and the value. So over here, you can see this extra large property has a valuation of over $750. But the house next door on 22 Stonelaw Ave has a valuation of $455. Also, when you're looking at the map, you can see properties that are for lease. This guy just recently was rented for $2,400 a month. And then I've got another active listing down here for $535. Oh, it's a pretty house. So whenever you're looking at a map, I'm going to show you really quick. Over to the right, you've got your driving tools. These are the points of interest. Here's your school data. If I want to look really quickly at traffic counts, click on your traffic counts, go ahead and select them all, apply, and then we'll just kind of zoom in and zoom out until they start to pop up. So this particular, go ahead, do you have a question? Nope. Okay. So these are the traffic counts. Obviously, River Avenue doesn't get a lot of traffic because we're not seeing a triangle. But down here, you can see on Eaton Street, there's 7,800 cars per day traveling along this road. So this is really relevant if the property was backing up to a super busy road. The points of interest, you can add golf courses, restaurants, nursing homes. All of these can be applied to your map. We'll click on restaurants and bars, close it out. There's my property. I can now show them on the map. There's a spa, there's a little restaurant. All of these points of interest represent nearby restaurants and shops. I'm going to get out of here, close this guy out. And the last thing I want to show you is our data layers. If you want to apply median estimated property value data or flood zones, click on that, click on apply, and it may take a few moments to pop up, but eventually the flood zones will appear. Okay, any questions? Do we need a break? We've been going at this for an hour. Does anybody need a break? If not, I'm just going to keep on rolling. You guys guide me, tell me what you prefer. We're good? Okay, well,
I think,
Fredo
yeah.
says,
I think
what's
we
that?
Yeah, I'd say think we keep going. I think.
All right, let's
take
do
a
it.
break.
I'm here for it. Okay, so we've got the map tools, additional resources. Remember, you want to perform a climate check analysis for a client? Click on climate check. It's going to leave. And look at that. It's specific to the subject property, 14 Stonelaw Ave. And it's showing me drought, heat, fire, flood risk. Pretty cool stuff. Probably more relevant to my Florida realtors. I'm not sure if this is a major concern for you guys up there, but it's a huge concern for the Florida real estate market. So I've got public record data compared to the listing data. If there was something wrong and all of a sudden I see that this property has listed at 1610 square feet, but the listing data has 1779 listed. So I have questions, and who am I going to call? I'm going to call Jean and say, what's going on? Oh, Jen, why is your public record data different from the listing data? And hopefully she's going to whip out a floor plan or an appraisal and kind of explain why this is different, because that's 100 square feet difference. So that's something that could affect an appraisal. All right, listing data. We've got HOA information, interior, exterior features. At this point, all I'm telling you about this particular page, everything you should need to know for your buyers about making an offer should be here. Your legal description. You can have ownership information. Rosalie and Josephine, they've owned this property for more than 20 years. They are the occupants. I could even go back and look at previous listings. Check this out, guys. It's showing me the listing ID from 1998. That is insane. Sold back in 98 for 106,000. And I could even click on that listing and see, I'm just curious and see what it looked like way back in 98. How cool is that? So you've got current listing, previous listing data, deed, mortgage, tax data. We can analyze the property taxes and if there are any exemptions that might have an impact on a potential buyer. And then you've got sold and financing activity and even an estimate of value. So of course, there's a lot of data here, and not all of it is going to be relevant to every customer. That's why when you click on create report and you want to pass this data off, you have to go through the templates and just decide, pick the data sets that you want to include or exclude. So one more thing before we move to commercial. Market trends we talked about. We talked about the map. I wish I had more time to spend on the map. In fact, why not? I want to take you back to the map real quick. Remember, whenever you're on a map, You have your geographies at the top. You can apply any of these data layers to your searches. So let's say, for instance, school districts, school zones, zip codes. You can click and zip codes will start to populate on your map. So keep that in mind. Of course, we're live now, so it's going to take a little bit longer, but all of these different geographical overlays can really help guide you with your clients. All right, so refining that value. Let's talk about that. We started off on 14 Stonelaw Ave, and it's got a valuation of $497,560. If I want to quickly refine this value based on my knowledge of the property or the market, this is where you can kind of make that magic happen. So let's just use a quick scenario that I think her name was Rosalie. Maybe Rosalie calls and says, I've just added a brand new kitchen to my property. We can go into RPR, click on the home improvement category, whether it was a remodeled bathroom, a kitchen, a new roof. You can go in and apply any of these different upgrades. Let's make it a bathroom remodel. It's going to give you a nice description of what that upscale bathroom remodel should look like. And then you're going to say, well, when did you do this? They did it back in 2024, right around Halloween, and they spent about $50,000 on this new bathroom. So think of the power here. If you're working on a set with a listing and they're really excited to tell you that they spent $50,000 on this bathroom, you're going to go to RPR and say, okay, let's see what that bathroom remodel is actually worth in your location. We click on add improvement. Watch my 497. When I click on add improvement, did I get all $50,000? No, I got under 20. This is a great reality check for our clients that think that just because they spent $50,000 on a bathroom that they're going to get all of that money back. Not quite the case. This data is coming to us from our source, Zonda. This is a housing development market data that's at a regional level. So you can kind of go through all of these different home improvement categories. If this property needs new paint, we can go ahead and add that here. And a cost is going to be a cost. If it costs $15,000 to repaint that house, if I add that improvement, it's going to take the entire $15,000 away from the value. So I added 18 for the new bathroom, but I lost 15 for the new painting. We also kind of did an overview of what the market's like up there, and it's pretty strong as far as sellers. So we can go ahead and make it a hotter market. And now our valuation is up over 511. And you could kind of go through and examine all of these different market and home conditions and adjust that value as you see fit. You also do not have to share this with anybody. Nobody else is going to see your refinements unless you choose to package that into a report. So that's how we manage residential. We've got prospecting, we've got neighborhood data, we've got reports, we've got market trends, and of course you've got your script writer and your share button. Everything you should need to know if you're going on a listing appointment. Let me show you really quick. We'll go back to that map. And I'm just going to go to the house next door. We're going to go to 22 Stonelaw, talk to Miss Emma. Emma owns this property, no closed price available. However, as of October 12th, it's got a valuation of $455,000. This is a great starting point for pricing, but it's definitely no replacement for a full CMA. If I click on CMA, there's my 5-step CMA process. Beautiful, beautiful end results. Hopefully you'll join us for a CMA class. Okay, Stephen, I think I'm ready to switch over to commercial just due to time. What do you think? Is there anything else in residential I can share?
No, I think you've given everybody a great flavor and a great taste for further pursuing it on their own, or now that your email is out here, we may be pummeling you with emails. So yeah, let's move on to commercial.
All right, let's do it. Okay, super. You guys have been great. Thanks for staying with me. I'm going to go ahead back off camera. And remember, before I go back off camera, remember this, not one time, once we've been through this entire presentation, we haven't seen an ad. Nobody's asking me for upgrades, nothing like that. So it's really a very user-friendly platform for all of your searching, whether you're looking on market, off market, residential or commercial, or you're just simply here to try to grow your business. Use that social media content to post or share as part of a direct mail campaign. Okay, for commercial, let's get out of here. We're gonna shut my camera off and we're gonna start off on our research tab. We're gonna leave the residential side of things and we're going to start with our commercial trade area data. And then I'm gonna take you to the commercial site selection tool. So the first thing I wanna do is analyze a commercial trade area. And unless anybody else has another zip code, I'm gonna stick to Warwick. So I'm happy to show you guys other parts of Rhode Island if you want. Don't be shy. If not, we're going to stick with 02886. And now we're completely shifting our focus and looking at the commercial trade area data. So what I did is from the research tab, I went to the trade area, typed in the zip code. Now we're completely looking at a different set of data. This is, in fact, the commercial trade area attribute summary for Warwick. The median household income, the median age range, the total population, and the top dominant Esri tapestry segment. Now, if you're not familiar with what this means, I'm going to explain it in further detail. However, over to the right, what are we seeing again? Our create script option. So just like in residential, you can create a script for commercial. Now, this is probably more in line with your investor script. So remember, let me just go back one more step. Research, commercial trade area, and then I typed in the zip code. I always like to remind everybody that takes the commercial classes, this data should not be applied to your residential research. This is some completely different. This is US Census, Esri data. You should not intertwine the data. Try to stick with your commercial area for your commercial investors and residential for your residential clients. Okay, so we can create a script. Now, when we click on create script, just like in the market trends, it's all going to break down the data and explain what that means to your customers. So let's go ahead and look at our options for commercial. Completely different subset. We've got a one-page summary. We've got a detailed report. You got your PowerPoint presentation. You've got your social media card again, a client email, and even a social video. Your tones, pretty much the same, professional, conversational, all that good stuff. The big difference, though, is going to be over here on your audience. Check it out. Now, instead of looking for first-time home buyers or sellers, we've got investors, tenants, landlords, property managers, even city planners. Okay, so let's go ahead and just do a quick one-page summary. For my friend out there that wanted investors, let's click on one-page summary, investors and developers, and then I generate the content. Now, this would be a really good time for someone to come on and ask me something live because this is going to take a few seconds to generate. Anybody have anything they want me to show or questions they want me to answer?
Yeah, this is any area in any of the tri-state area here in the Northeast. So you can be the, I guess, the advice to an investor, right?
Exactly. Yes. This is exactly what that is. This is an executive summary of the trade area data specifically for the 02886 zip code. But you could do this for the entire city. You could do it at a county level. But in terms of explaining the trade area data, this is pretty powerful. The demographic profile is characterized by a median age of 46.5, predominant household type of married couples. And it kind of explains to your commercial investors what this data means to them. Looking ahead, Warwick's market is poised for continued growth and development. The combination of demographic stability, economic health, lifestyle alignment presents a promising canvas for investors and developers. Now, with any AI tool, you want to read it. Make sure you read it. Please read it. Because, you know, there could be something that just doesn't sync up with how you want to convey your message. So read it, copy and paste it to Word or Google Docs, whatever you're using. You also could share the entire content via email. Remember those reports that I was showing you earlier? you have the ability to upload your own script to your reports. I'm going to run a commercial report here in a minute, and I'm going to export all of this data into my trade area report. So stay tuned for that. So remember, all of these options, you could also just choose the data that you want. Maybe you don't want the income or the housing stats. You can choose whichever data you want to include in your script. And then you've got your social media card again over to the far right. We could create that little social card, kind of go through the same exact steps, selecting your background. And now look, we got a whole different view. Okay, let's get rid of that. I want to scroll down and kind of dive into some of this additional data. So we've got our script writer. Again, this is going to be directly aligned with the consumer attribute summaries for that area. Now, as I scroll down, I've got all of this additional information, demographic facts and stats, the average age range, married, home values over to the far right. If you have a commercial investor and they're asking you, tell me about the median estimated home value in Warwick for 27. 12-month change, it's up 3.6%. And it even does a zip code, county, and state comparison. So with all of this demographic facts and stats, you can package this all up in one of those reports. Now, as I scroll down, you're going to get additional consumer segmentation data. The top tapestry segment for Warwick is the Parks and Rec group. This is the 3808. That's 28% of the folks that live here fall into this category. The average household size, 2.46. The median age range is relatively young, about 40. We've got the median net worth, holy cow, 267. Median home value is about 327. And now this is just specifically to this top tapestry segment. RPR is going to give you the top 5 tapestry segments. And when we package this in a report, it's going to go deeper into the 5 segments. So lots and lots of data here. You can even do a nearby trade area comparison in Warwick, looking at different zip codes. And you can even click on listings. Okay, I'm going to go back to my top. I want to package all of this trade area data into a report. I simply click on Create Report. There's my trade area template. It's going to look just like the format that we showed earlier. I continue with the template. I can see the review of what data is included. Continue with the template. Click on Continue. And now we're looking at an entirely different set of trade area data. Now, obviously, I added this photo earlier. I want to change that. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Your cover page. Click on your cover page. If I want to get rid of that photo, I can go back to my geographic map. But remember that script that I just generated. If I click on Custom Pages, I get rid of my resume. I add a page. Let's add the script. I'm going to go to my downloads, and there's my general summary. So it's just that simple to upload a script to any of the reports that you generate. So I want you to kind of just think of the entire picture here. You've got your market trends, you've got your trade area data, you've got the ability to generate this beautiful script. Let me zoom in a little and see this is specifically to the Warwick, Rhode Island 02886 zip code and explaining to your customers what all of that trade area data means specifically to them. Okay. Hopefully that all makes sense. Oh, investors and developers, I should say. There you go, right there. So you could add 2 pages if you want. There's my resume and my script, or I could just exit that guy out. So for our customization, it's all going to look the same. The other thing I'm going to tell you guys is your cover page. You can get rid of this cover page. If you want to add your own, you can do that. You would just go ahead and make it a custom page, and you could make that your cover page. So you have complete control over your reports. Now, with the trade area data, when I click on the trade area summary, there's all of that consumer segmentation, but it goes beyond just the kind of side-by-side view. For every one of those segments, I'm getting a full outline of what parks and recs mean. So let me zoom in a little bit and show you. Who are they? They're suburbanites. They have achieved the dream of home ownership. This is the neighborhood data. This is the market profile. And this here is their socioeconomic traits. So you had the summary, the segment, scroll up, the nice side-by-side view, but you also can go deeper into all of those tapestry segments and get a full page explaining every one of those segments. The retirement communities, what does that mean? What are their socioeconomic traits? Yep, they're brand loyal. That makes sense. Their market profile and their neighborhood info. And just like we did before for residential, once you've customized, you can save this as a save template. You can share it as a dynamic link. You can email it, or you can share it directly to social media. So that is, let's go ahead and save this guy. We'll give that a quick save it as a draft. And that is how you would research the trade area data from our homepage. Now, just like with residential though, you can access that trade area from a subject property. So we're going to take a look at that next. Before we go into our site selection though, which is going to be right down here at the bottom, I want to do a basic search for commercial real estate. So for this particular part of my presentation, I'm going to go back to Providence. I'm going to look for all of the commercial properties. Again, under our status and type, we can go to for sale, for lease. We've got public record databases here. I go for sale. I'm going to look at retail only, but I could look at multifamily units, restaurants, office space. I can set up my price parameter. I also can set up my square footage, my lot size, if I'm looking at land. I have more filters here, again, just like we did with residential. And then I click on my magnifying glass. So for the 8 properties that I found in Providence, all of them are retail space. Remember, search results, mailing labels, print, report, my map view. I can see all of these properties beautifully laid out on the map or on my side-by-side view. So let's pick this property from the map, okay? I picked Silver Lake Ave. When I click on this full details tab, now, instead of it being residential, because it's commercial, just like on residential, I've got the blue bar, but you can see the data is different. I can go to the map. I can go to the trade area right from a subject property. I can add my own updates. I can look at historical information. If this property had been listed before, it would be here for me under historical. I've got satellite street views. I've got the ability to kind of scroll through. We do not offer an RVM on commercial properties. That's exclusive to residential. However, if you are trying to find comps for commercial properties, I'm going to show you something next that I think you're going to love. The other thing, when you're looking at commercial properties, if we stick to the map, we go back to that map. Remember that Silver Lake Drive? Let's change the view. Let's look at the satellite view. I can kind of zoom in. Top 2 questions we get from commercial investors, parking and traffic. So I can look at the satellite view and see, you know what? It does look like there's pretty ample parking here. So use your map tools over to the right. This applies for residential and commercial. Does anybody remember what the red button or the red dot means in RPR? I'll give a shout out. Oh, I just opened it. It's distressed. Anything in red in RPR is distressed. So you can see this property just down the road is in foreclosure. So all you need to do to change your view back is go to the view tab over to the right. We'll hit the road again and we'll zoom out. Now, if my second most popular question pertains to traffic counts, my first was parking. I've already answered that question. If my client wants to know how busy this road is, again, I just go to my little driving tool, click on traffic counts, click on apply. And now Silver Lake Drive is showing me there's only 1,200 cars per day traveling by. So you have access to all of these map tools, whether you're looking at residential or commercial. Points of interest, same thing, schools, data layers, all are going to be accessible. Now for the commercial data layers, you can see the demographic indicators, residential real estate indicators, it's a little bit more robust. You can look at average family size, the married versus unmarried comparison. Again, you've got your flood zones. We'll apply that. Now, see, this time it came up nice and quick for me. When I zoom in, oh, unsupported. We'll zoom out then. Okay. So there's my flood zones. Anything in this pink or red area is a high risk. My property is not. So I am in a pretty good spot. However, if I had a commercial buyer for this property down here, I'd be a little worried about their risk for flooding. And I would definitely want to connect them with a insurance broker before we start looking. Okay, data layers, flood zones, and all of these demographic indicators can be applied to the map. Okay, I'm going to pause. I definitely need to sip my water, breathe. Are there questions, guys, I can answer for you? You guys have been so great. 2 hours of this is a long time. We're on the home stretch, I promise. So we did a quick search for commercial properties in Providence. I came up with this Silver Lake. From the subject property, I can also access the trade area data. So again, just like market trends, you can access it from the research tab, or once you're really taking a deep dive into a property, it's also going to be accessible for you. You also have the ability right from a subject property to create a report. So let's go ahead and quickly show you what that's going to look like. For a subject property, when I click on create report, it's going to take me to a specific property report. Again, it's going to give me the property information, financial, traffic counts. I continue with a template. I don't even have to enter in the address. It already populated for me. I click on continue, same format. I'm not going to go through this again for you guys, but just remember, cover page, custom pages. You can add your own photos. You can add your scripts, traffic counts. Any one of these different pages can be removed, moved around, rearranged. So let's just scroll down to traffic counts. I'm just curious to show you what that looks like. Legal description, public record data. And as I scroll through, there's my traffic counts. So I can include that as part of my report. There it is. Now the map isn't populating, but if I click show map now, it will come right up and it's going to show me the traffic counts within a 1 mile proximity of that commercial business. And again, you have the ability to package this all up in a nice report that you can share or download. And remember, this is the link that's going to auto refresh every 48 hours. So this is the best bang for your buck in terms of sharing reports. So if there are no more questions, I am going to finish strong with a commercial site selection tool. Are we all
Janelle?
good out there?
Actually,
No.
Paul has a question.
Yes.
So if I'm doing a commercial analysis, I just go into RPR like I would residential, and I put in a commercial address.
You sure can. Yeah. It's right here. So right here is where you toggle from residential. Then you go to commercial and everything changes. Even my markets changed. Once I flip the switch to commercial, now I'm looking at commercial properties that have come on the market in the last 10 days.
But did you say that it doesn't do a financial, oh, I'm trying to think what the words are.
An investment
refined
analysis?
value.
No, it doesn't do a refined value. But what you do have access to, I'm going to show you that. The RVM is very specific to residential, but that's a really good question and actually something I forgot to talk about. From a subject property, commercial is always a challenge in terms of finding comps. But look what you have here. Under additional resources, you have access to CompStack. This is a crowdsourcing platform where realtors go in and post recently sold and leased comps. So if you're trying to do a CMA for commercial, it's a whole other animal. Rely on CompStack to pull recently sold and leased commercial sales. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The other thing, Paul, I want to show you the listing that I worked with today is actually listed in multiple places. So if you scroll down, you can see multiple listings. It's listed in the statewide MLS, but it's also listed in Crexi. So it's showing me the 2 different listing IDs if I wanted to do a comparison. This would take me directly to the Crexi site and I could do some advanced research there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was just wondering what the Crexi site is.
That is a commercial information exchange.
CREX.
The CREXI.
I site.
There's the
Thank you.
listing. There's the listing ID. There's tenant data. There's the ownership facts, the legal description, everything again. Look at this: deed, mortgage, tax, and distress. This property was in distress status back in 2012. So all of the research that you need for commercial or residential, it's here for you. You just have to kind of decide what information you're looking for and what information you want to share. Good question.
Just curious, would they ever have environmental information?
The climate check would be a great place to go. You got 2 options: climate check and First Street. Okay, they both are going to take you specifically to a subject property report. Now for this, there's your climate change risk snapshot specific to the property, and I can get a full free report right here. Now this is a partnership, so this is an RPR, but this is just one of our partners that you can access and create a report specific to the climate risk analysis. Does that help?
Yes.
Good, I'm so happy. Any other questions? Look at that little dog, Wilfredo. That is so cute. All right, I got to move on. Let's get back to it. Valuate. Ooh, while we're here, let's talk about Valuate. This is where you can perform a short or a long-term investment analysis. Now, we do not teach on Evaluate anymore, but we do have a recording of a class that we did a year ago. It's a partnership. It's not RPR, but you could view your own training here, or you can simply just continue and you can perform a short or a long-term investment analysis. And you can do that for residential too. So if you have a client and they want you to say, show me what the investment potential is for a 1-year hold or a 10-year hold, you could go ahead and do that investment analysis using the Valuate tool. Okay, we're going to finish up here with our research tab. And this is really fascinating. Research, commercial trade areas. Now I'm going to go ahead and say Paul has got a buyer and they are relocating to Providence and they want to open up a business. And the business model is a med spa. I use this as an example for this part of the presentation because it's very specific. We all kind of know who visits a med spa. So when I click on commercial site selection, this is going to work for whatever business model you're working with. My girlfriend, my coworker does doggy daycare centers. I like the med spa because it really kind of zones in on exactly who visits the med spa. So step 1 for the commercial site selection, and the overall goal of this is to show our clients on paper where the best locations are for that business to thrive. So let me go back off camera so we can focus. Step 1, what's the broad area you want to search? Unless anybody has something different, I'm going to go with Providence, Rhode Island. I'm open to suggestions, so don't be shy. My location. Step 2, I have to ask my customer, who are the people that you are looking to attract? You can choose up to 5 attributes of folks that will visit a med spa. Now, if you don't know what a med spa is, down here in Florida, they're on every corner. It's where you can get facials or chemical peels or whatever you want to do to your face. You can access those pretty much everywhere in Tampa. Let's find out in Providence where the best places are for our med spa to succeed. So step 1, we have all of these different attribute options. First off, who are they? Well, typically when we think of med spas, we think of women. So if I go in and I select an attribute, I'm going to go ahead and select gender, and then I'm going to select females. Now I can select males. I'm going to go with home. I'm going to go with okay. The next criteria, what do we think about with women who are visiting med spas? They're typically of a certain age. So the next attribute that I'm going to select, I'm going to stick with who they are. I have what do they do, where they live, what they buy. I'm just going to go with who they are. And now I'm going to go with my age range. Think about the ladies that are visiting those med spas. They're certainly not tweens, not too many teenagers. We're going to try to find the middle-aged ladies, okay? And if you're not sure what middle-aged is, I'm here to tell you it's folks between the ages of 40 and 59. So you can select any of these different ages. Remember, you've got seniors, you've got all of these different options, but we're going to stick to middle-aged women, adding more criteria. Select my next attribute. I'm going to go with what do they buy? What do they spend their money on? So for that attribute, check this out. Clothing, restaurants, food, phones. I'm going to go with personal care products. These ladies spend a lot of money on themselves. So we're going to say, okay. And then the fourth criteria I'm going to use is income. So let's go to select an attribute. We're going to go back to who they are. And in this case, I'm going to go with income. Now, for my income, I don't want median disposable income. I don't want average. I want the ladies with high disposable income that love to spend it on themselves. And if I don't know what that means, the help bubble will guide me again. Higher than $50,000 annually. So for you, get in there and practice with your attributes. All of these different attributes take you to a new pick list. So again, what do they buy? Who they are? What do they do? Industry of employment. If I click that, it's going to take me to a whole nother subset of specific data to choose from. But I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this guy here. Clear that guy out. Now you can select 5. I selected 4 because we're getting close to running out of time. I want to now go in and run my analysis. So when we run the analysis, the map is going to pop up of Providence. And guess what? The deeper purple, the location, the better the fit for my med spa. So it's showing me on the map, maybe you guys know this area better than I do, why this little location up here is a little bit better than this particular area to the west. When I scroll down, have you ever heard of Elmhurst? I'm not too sure, but if I check this out, Elmhurst does seem to be the top community for my med spa to succeed. And why is that? 51% are women, 19% in that area are middle-aged. They spend about $1,000 a year on personal care products, and they have high disposable income. 67% of the ladies that live in that area have high disposable income. And then if I go down to Blackstone, same thing. It's a pretty darn good area. They're spending about $2,000 on personal care products annually. So I could create a report. Again, I've got my create report option. I could select all, and now I can start searching for listings in this area. So not only have I just done an analysis to find the perfect location for my med spa, I can begin the process of searching for inventory. I could also search public records. I could run an analysis, or I could, guess what, create a report. One more time, we'll go to the site selection report. Same exact thing, same format. The difference is going to be in the data. Always you've got your customization. This is what's going to change, the data that you include. And of course, you've got your download and your share button. Now, when I go back to results, let's do one more thing. And I select all, and I search for listings in the area. Let's see if we come up with any. All right, it's showing me 22 intermediate neighborhoods with Elmhurst at the top, but it doesn't really know what kind of property type is best suited for a med spa. And it's also not sure if I want for sale and for lease. So I'm going to go ahead and unselect properties that are for lease. Anything in yellow is for rent. I'm going to select only active inventory, get rid of the under contract and pending. Now, the big change is my property type. Obviously, a hotel is not a good spot for a med spa, but maybe office space, retail would be good. Maybe we throw in a little healthcare. We could throw in a shopping center. So I can now pick the neighborhoods that are perfect for my med spa, choose the property types that I want. I could even then go in and filter out by price, square footage, but we're going to just go ahead and click our magnifying glass. And guess what? I found 11 properties in those ideal locations for my med spa. So where are we now? We're on our search results. That means you're going to have your 3 views over to the top right. We're on the map view, but I'm going to change that up and I'm going to look at all of these beautiful properties laid out for me in a nice side-by-side view. Now there's a huge range. Obviously 17 million isn't going to work, but this guy probably isn't either. It looks like a little auto body shop. However, maybe this place on Westminster is a perfect spot for my med spa. I can go in, save it as a saved property, and then I could go in and create a report for that entire property. So let's go ahead and just quickly take a look at Westminster, Providence, Rhode Island. It's office space. It's listed for $579. It's in the zip code that apparently it is set to thrive if my client wanted to open up a little med spa here. I've got my map. I've got my additional resources, all those CREXI, CompStack, and Climate Check that we talked about, listing data, legal description, so on and so on. Just endless amounts of data. So that is about as much as I had planned on. Do we have anybody want something real specific for me to kind of touch on before we wrap up here? Let's take you to our learning center. Let's go over here to learn, top of our screen. This is the kind of the king or the key to the castle here. Go down to view more ways to learn at the very bottom. This is going to take you to the RPR learning site. From here, there's so much going on. You've got our entire suite of national webinars. You can join anytime you like. You have topics. I've mentioned farming. If you guys want me to do an off-market property search for geographic farming, just say the word and I will do that. If you click farming under the topics, everything that we've ever crafted for you in terms of RPR content will be here for you under your topics. You've got your turnover calculator, an ebook, and then a previous recording on how to do some prospecting. And does everybody see the learning at the very top where it's blue? If I click on learning, okay, let me go back one step. Just hover over learning. This is where we're going to access all of our Canva templates. All of these templates can be accessed, customized. They all align with those market trends that we looked at when we were doing our residential presentation. So you can customize these templates if you want. The difference with the RPR templates and the Canva templates is the RPR templates will auto-populate with the market trends. The Canva templates, you have to go in and customize, and you need a Canva Pro account. So it's up to you. You've got a few more options here with Canva. You're welcome to use ours, or you can go ahead and get that Canva account. The other cool thing I want to show you here, though, open house sign-in, resume builders, pre-listing and home buyer checklist. If you're not in the habit of sending out a home buyer checklist to new buyers, you've got one here. Go ahead and download it and share that with your clients so you make sure you're on the same page with your buyers before you start showing them property. Okay, Stephen, I'm going to let you guide me. What do you think? Do you want to stay on a little bit longer, or what should we do?
I am looking, I think we've maybe lost 2, but we're pretty much at time for 2 hours. If you want to continue, you certainly may.
What I would love to do is try to get that mobile app to work. So you guys bear with me for a second and see if I can pull that up.
Sure.
All right, because there's some really cool script writing tools from mobile too. So give me a second. I'm going off camera. Breathe.
Okay. I just want to take a minute to talk to everybody too. Tomorrow is our annual meeting. I'm hoping as many of you can make it tomorrow. It's at 4 o'clock, 4 to 6 over at Searcy, which is the former Chapel Grill over in Garden City. There will be free appetizers. I think there'll be a cash bar there, but we will be doing a few things at that annual meeting. Again, mentioning our Realtor of the Year and going over some of those things. So I would like to have as many of you can come. It's free, so you have no excuse for not having the cash. But again, tomorrow, 4 to 6 at Cersei. Janelle, go ahead.
All right, so we've got the mobile app going. You mentioned an open cocktail hour. That sounds like a good time. So hopefully you guys will go. Think of me. Have a toast on me. Okay, so this is the mobile app. I was able to grab it. There's my little grandson. He just melts my heart. But this is the RPR mobile app logo. So if you're on your app store, just grab it, log in. And I'm going to show you a few cool things that I absolutely love. First off, with mobile, I'm going off camera so we don't distract you. With mobile, it's geographically specific. So yes, I live right down here, down by the Hillsborough River. I'm kind of close to downtown Tampa. I can kind of zoom in and zoom out. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't search wherever you're at. So let's go back and do a quick property search on the top of our mobile app. And what did we say? We're in Warwick, 02886. My hands are not typing right. Okay, well, click on 02886. And now we're in Warwick. We're looking at inventory. I found 88 active listings in Warwick, Rhode Island. Just like any other mobile app, it looks entirely different from the desktop. However, the functionality is the same. Your reports are down at the bottom. Your market trends are down at the bottom. They're shareable. Your My Work, let's tap on My Work. I'm just curious. I want to make sure this actually synced up. Let's see, my recent properties. Let's see if they're going to show me. That's not the one I wanted. Oh, it hasn't populated yet. So it should sync up. It's taken a little bit longer. That's okay. We're going to move on. Let's go back to my search. Now, with every one of these properties that we're looking at on the map, I can tap on the actual map dot, or I can take this little gray tab here at the very bottom and I can swipe up. And now I can see all of the different properties that are actively listed in that area. You'll notice it's all commercial though. Let's drag that guy down. If I go to my little filter at the top, all I have to do is change from commercial to residential. Tap on residential, get rid of properties that are for lease. Maybe I just look at single family homes. I have all of the same listing status options that I had on the desktop: square footage, bedroom, bath, distressed, absentee owner. If I tap on apply, now I'm looking at 40, whoops, I did something wrong. I'm looking at 47 properties in 02886. So if I just want to grab that little gray bar, pop it up, look at these $2.2 million houses. Now, let's say, for instance, my buyer is interested in this guy right here, Commonwealth Ave. If I tap on that property, hold on to your hats, because check this out. There's an AI tool right here from mobile. This is not available on the desktop. If you want to quickly share property information from RPR Mobile to your clients, tap on the AI button and it's going to generate an entire script. So let's go ahead. I'll be real engaging. My audience is obviously going to be for buyers, but look, friends, there's all of those same options. We just tap on generate, and it's not going to just give me property detail information. It's going to combine the market trends. So you can see a nice write-up of the historic 1875 residence, square footage. It's also going to give me updates on the local market trends. The large lot offers privacy, and it includes the 2.25 month supply of inventory. Homes are selling at 1.69% above list. Signals what? Strong demand, long-term value potential. All you have to do now is tap on share, and I could send this, I could airdrop it, I could text it, I could post it to social media. So if you have a listing and you want a quick AI write-up, this is perfect. If you are working with a seller and it's an off-market property, you should be able to access that as well. Now, the other cool thing from the mobile, you can kind of scroll through. I can tap on school data. I don't see school data. Do you guys not share your school data up there?
Yeah, I believe we do.
That's unusual. So if I scroll down, because I'm not seeing school data coming up, so maybe they're withholding it on this property. I'm not sure, but let's go back. I don't want to get too far in the weeds. So I could click on this property and I could access pretty much everything that I was able to look at from the desktop. I can kind of scroll through, see the different pictures that the listing agent has given me. I can change it to a satellite view. I can look at the street view and see what's going on in this beautiful neighborhood. There's the map. I can see it on the map. I can see that there's a Trader Joe's close by. Historical data, points of interest, and then we've got all of that can be applied to the map. This property has been on the market 106 days. It was built in 1875. There's my location details. I could analyze comparables. It's showing me exactly how far away it is from me. So if you do this on your mobile, it will show you how long it's going to take you to get to the property. That's kind of cool. There's the flood zone. There's the listing data. I got public records. I can tap on public, look at that public record data and compare it to the listing info. I could create a CMA, a net sheet, or I can even access the equity calculator. I've got a mortgage calculator. So based on what my buyers are putting down and what the current interest rate is, we could go ahead and estimate monthly costs. Now, I wanted to show you the AI tools. We do offer 2 mobile app classes. This is definitely just scratching the surface. If I tap on trends down at the bottom, remember, we've got another AI tool. There's the market trends. Now it's defaulting to my physical location. So if I want to change that, I need to go back to Warwick and type in that one more time. And now, oops, that's not right. Give me a second. So now I'm looking at the market trends for Warwick on the mobile. If I change the property type right there to single family, now guess what? I can share to social media. There's my Instagram. If I tap on Instagram at the bottom and then I download, this is the image that I can post directly from my mobile app to Instagram. So remember, you had Facebook, X, and LinkedIn from desktop, but from mobile, you also have some advanced posting options. You also have an AI tool for the market trends on mobile. Same thing. We've got that social media card. There's your video. You've got a client email. So you've got advanced, I like to call it advanced script writing tools from the mobile. You've got the same thing with the market trends, but where things get real different is when we're looking at a subject property. So let me just go back one step and we'll just grab a property real quick and just remind everybody that once you are looking at a subject property, you give it a little tap, there's your AI tool. So there's a new listing. Anybody can remember it's been on the market less than 3 days and it does look like it came on the market October 9th. So maybe my settings are a little bit off. Just curious about what's going on with the school data. No school data in here. That's weird. So you've got your AI tools, the year built, and again, even market trends. Now, let's get out of here and do one more thing. This is going to be it for me. I'll let you guys get on with your night. To change it up, let's go to commercial. We're going to do the same thing. We'll just go look for commercial, restaurants, retail space in Warwick. We'll click apply. Same thing. I've got 3 properties. Okay. I can select it. I can analyze it. But guess what? There's another AI tool. I tap on it and now I can create a script for commercial property insights. So in this case will be professional. I'm going to stick with my buyers. I'm going to generate an AI property specific to our commercial retail space. Pretty cool stuff listed at, and it's giving me employment rates, year built, square footage, all kinds of cool things. And then, of course, you had your one-click share button. Now, one more thing, I know I said that before, but when we tap on reports, this is the only place that you can create a buyer's tour from mobile. So if you want to create a buyer's tour, very, very easy to do. All of these reports you can easily generate. Remember I mentioned a property flyer? You have a one-click share button. Make sure you're in compliance, continue. And then you could post or share that property flyer rather than having to spend money on print and paper. Okay, let's go back to residential. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead. As long as they stay on, we're down to the last 5.
All right. Well, I'm going to wrap up here in just a second. I'm just selecting a few properties. I'm going to tap on the top left here. Tap on there. If I tap on reports, okay, I've selected some properties. Back one. Tap on reports. Click on or tap on create reports. And now as I kind of peruse these different options, I can see my buyer's report template. So let's see where that my buyer report is. Oh, property address required. Oh, it defaulted back to Tampa. All right. Well, I think my app is acting a little strange. Oh, there it is. They moved my cheese. 5 properties selected. Just below the 5 properties is the view options. There we go. Now I can create a buyer's tour. I searched for properties. I found 4 $2 million properties, selected them. Now I'm going to tap on next. And now I could go ahead and click on my buyer's tour, or I could get directions to these properties. When I create a buyer's tour and I tap on next, I have all of this different information that I can include. I tap on next, and then I run the report. Now, it's going to take a few moments to run. It's finalizing. But remember, whenever you are doing an open house or you're working with a buyer, use the tech. You make it easy on yourself. Share, text, airdrop the data rather than handing it off and having somebody toss it. Go ahead and generate your reports in advance, or while you're still with your customers, you can absolutely create a buyer's report for a specific property and share all of the information with your client while they're still hopefully ready to make an offer. Okay, guys, I think that is a massive amount of information in 2 hours. You guys have been great.
I don't know how you package that in 1 hour for your normal classes.
Well, we don't ever do commercial and residential. So all of our classes are either residential or commercial. And since you mentioned it, let me take you to the Learning Center one more time and just go to show you the class schedule.
Uh-oh.
I know. Well, because you know what? One of our most popular classes, and we didn't get to do it, is prospecting. We've also got great mobile app classes. They're free. You can come in, sign in, leave when you're ready. They don't cost you anything, and you're bound to learn something new every single time, because the site is constantly evolving, updating. We're introducing new AI tools all the time, really just designed to help you grow your business, save you a bunch of time and money. So there's our class schedule. I teach, my other coworker teaches. One of us is always on and the other's backing us up. So you're welcome to join us for any of our classes. Just head on over to Webinars by Date.
Janelle, thank you very much. We've got your email, Janelle V at narrpr.com. I'm surprised they haven't done a .realtor version of that.
I don't
But
know.
Janelle V at narrpr.com. Again, I want to say to everybody that's stuck on here, thank you very much. Remember our sponsors, Scadone Law, All Dry Restoration, Navigant Credit Union, and Vantage Builders. And remember, please, if you can make it to the annual meeting, it's tomorrow from 4 to 6 at Cersei, which is the old Chapel Grill over in Garden City. So again, you will be receiving a credit document from this probably in the next day or two. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Jack, did you have anything to say?
I couldn't put it better than you, Steven. So you covered everything. Thanks so much.
You
All
guys
right,
were
I wanna see
wonderful.
you guys tomorrow night.
Janelle, you got my email.
All right. I might be flying up there, you guys. Have a great weekend. I hope you guys have a beautiful weather, and hope to see you in future classes. And thank you all for having me today. It was a true pleasure to get to present RPR to you. And hopefully you'll get in there and start playing around with it. Have a great evening, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. RPR 67. Bye.
Thank you.